Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is our third episode of the Seahorse, and today we're actually starting to work on our canvas. But before we get into paint, there was a last little bit of beautiful information that I want to share with you guys, and it still connects with the year of the wood snake. And this is from um, my Buddhist teacher, Shar Kentro Jampel Lodro from Ho Chi Minh City. And this was his New Year's message, and I just absolutely love how he connected with our life and going forward in this year, and the way that he the perspective that he brings into his writing is absolutely um, life changing. I think the perspective is what I want to share with you guys, and I think it connects so beautifully with the root chakra. Our root chakra connects us to the earth and to our life, and that is exactly what we're going to connect with today when we paint our canvas this beautiful red color. So let me share these beautiful words with you guys, and I will add it to the description of this video, just in case something isn't clear and you want to be able to read it for yourself as well. So he's talking about remembering our precious human birth in the year of the wood snake. As the new year comes again, although we are 1 year closer to death, we have already managed to survive from the jaws of death with trillions of our breaths. We could have died between each breath, but we are still here. So, if we know how to live a perfect life and have a perfect attitude and contemplate this good fortune, then we already have trillions of moments to rejoice. If we rejoice, then our life is made up of trillions of moments of happiness. That's just so beautiful. Moreover, if we can rejoice in the talents and merits of more than 8 billion people on this planet, not only can we live this life in happiness alone, but we have also accumulated great merit and virtue, making our life meaningful. Therefore, from now on, whether we need happiness or we need to accumulate merit, we must not forget that it is in our own hands. If we haven't rejoiced yet, we can take the opportunity going forward to contemplate and cultivate this attitude of gratitude. This is the first step in our year to clarify our Dharma practice. And he also did mention in his writing that this is the year of the female wood snake. He made that distinction, and I just really love that because of the divine feminine energy balancing here with the divine male energy of the seahorse. And this is really my message for everyone during this beautiful painting tutorial, is that we must try to remain grounded and present and anchored in our truth, and balance both the male and the female energies within our bodies, within our consciousness. That really is the whole Kundalini energy rising that connects with our awareness, it connects with our soul, our spirit, and it is part of the process of our ascension as we rise from ignorance and attachment and aversion and fear to that of unity and of love and of inclusiveness. So that really is my intention in sharing with you guys. So I hope that was just as insightful for you guys as it was for me in the moment. Right. So we're getting into our beautiful canvas, and today is going to be easy. in the sense it's not going to be a lot of thinking, it's not a lot of strategy. Oh, my tongue is twisting a bit today, so maybe I must just share with you guys what's going on. There's a little bit of tension in my jaw. I woke up, I think I might have, slept on my face in a way, and it, in a way, dislocated my jaw, so it's slightly misaligned. So I'm having difficulty pronouncing some words today. Forgive me for that. So what I was trying to say is we are just going to play and we're going to activate our canvas today, and we're going to give it a beautiful background. Now, it connects with our root chakra, this color, the color of red, the color of life, the color of our blood. But this is also a beautiful way to start a painting, to give your canvas a warm background upon which we're going to be painting, and it will all make sense to you as we go forward. So a lot of artists use a variety of colors like yellow ochre or even orange, any sort of warm color. You can even play with a beautiful warm pink in the background. That is also something I like to do sometimes. But this does give a beautiful complementary color scheme that makes the colors look vibrant and alive. And remember, our intention going forward into this painting of the seahorse is not to replicate this and to make it look like a photostat. It is to express the feeling that we are trying to capture here with the seahorse in a very expressive, artistic, in a looser way that I tend to have demonstrated in the past. So I'm quite excited about that, getting into a little bit more of a painterly expression on our canvas. So what I want you to do is use your Cadmium Red Light paint, and the one here from Lucas Kroll definitely has a little bit of a orange tone to it, which I personally quite love, and it complements the greens and the turquoises quite well. So you don't have to like really cover up everything on the underneath here. You can literally just give it a good old glaze with this color, because we're going to be painting over it anyway. So how thick or how thin, that's really up to you. And I'm just using a square flat brush here to just paint my canvas, and this is going to do a number of things. The painting board here has been primed for painting, so coming from the manufacturer, I find that the boards are quite chalky. You can see, like, if you had to paint over this, how it skips. It's like the paint doesn't want to, smear smoothly on it. So it's going to make our painting process as we go forward a lot easier to work on a foundation that has already got some acrylic on there. Acrylic on acrylic is just so much easier. So you can add a bit of water. I do like some areas if it's a little bit translucent, so dipping my brush into some water here just to give the paint a little bit more fluidity and spreadability, so that we can cover up our canvas. So really just put some nice music on for yourself, or I'll play you some beautiful music in this video, and just go into a mindful state and contemplate the words that I've shared with you guys. I love the bit where he said, if you haven't rejoiced yet, it's just a reminder that truly we are in control of our own attitude and our own bodies, and we decide what frequency we vibrate on. So it's all about awareness. So when you realize that your emotions and your frequency is not aligned with your intention for creating, paradise on earth, or just living your life in a way that you want to live it, so that you can be happy and blessed and fulfilled and filled with joy and happiness. It really is a decision. It is an attitude more than, it is an event or an experience. Sometimes an experience or an event can trigger feelings of happiness, and it's really just dopamine releasing in your brain, and that's the way we experience those beautiful, blissful moments. But sometimes they don't last long. Sometimes it feels like it fades too quickly, right? So we can get attached to that feeling, that dopamine hit, and we go and look for other ways to get that same dopamine hit. And one way that I can honestly say to you, I find that reward is in coming to my art studio and coming to my art practice and just playing with paint and putting it on canvas or paper and just enjoying that expression of color and of movement. So, but beyond that, happiness really is a byproduct of our attitude when we decide to be grounded in the present moment, and we don't camouflage everything that's going on in our lives or try to hide from it or deny that it is happening, because life is happening to us. It's happening for us, in fact. And it's the way that we respond. So I choose today to rejoice and to recognize how far I've come in my life journey. And it's easy for us to get fixated on events that might not have quite worked out the way that we wanted it to work out. I sort of watched a video yesterday of a lady. I don't know who she is. I haven't seen any of her videos before, but she made this profound statement. She said that, if you look at your day, 2/3 of your day really goes according to plan, and it's uneventful, and it's beautiful, smooth, graceful, and just, in a flow. And maybe only 1/3 of our day might be challenging, difficult, frustrating, hard, or maybe challenging in some way. And isn't it interesting that when we get together, that we focus on that 1/3 of our day that has not gone according to plan, that maybe have difficult, challenging, or problematic in some way. And when we get together, we focus on that. We tell that to everyone instead of focusing on the other 2/3 of our day that went with grace and with ease, and it was beautiful, and maybe something magical happened, maybe something beautiful happened. You saw something beautiful in your environment, but instead of sharing that, instead of sharing the positive and the beautiful and the wow, did you know about this, in the good news sense of the word, we tend to want to immediately go and share the negative, and sort of that becomes our narrative. And from the one conversation to the rest or the next in the week, what we tend to do is we draw on those highlights that is really the smallest part of our human experience, and we share that with the world. We share that frustration, that anger, that disappointment, that overwhelm, or that fear, and it becomes our narrative. So that just reminded me again that what we focus on really is, in the end of the day, up to you. So that is my question to you today, as you paint your canvases beautiful cadmium light red. How are you grounded today? Do you have a grounding practice? And what does that look like? And how do you go into the world? Do you share with everyone that comes on your path that 5 minutes of frustration and anger and overwhelm? Or do you share the resilience, the beauty, the abundance of all the minutes that's passed in your day where everything did go well and everything is beautiful, and you saw something special, or you shared something special, or you experienced something special? So that is my challenge to you today as we get into our seahorse painting. Ground yourself, and maybe you must ask maybe your question is, how do you ground yourself? Well, there's a number of ways you can do that. Number one, take off your shoes. put it down on the earth. Feel with your feet that you are grounded, and call your energy into the present moment by saying, I am grounded in the present, here and now. And then focus your mind to just for 5 minutes look around you and focus on everything that is in your present moment. You can also just rinse your hands under cold water and just become present with that. Spend time in nature is usually the best way to ground yourself. Hug a tree, go do some gardening, just sit or lie down on the ground, look up at the sky, close your eyes, and just feel Mother Earth grounding you. And you can ask Mother Earth around you for that grounding support. And by just doing that and aligning yourself with the resonance of the planet, you will ground yourself. It's really easy. We do it naturally without even realizing it, but we can also do it intentionally. And what happens when we ground ourselves constantly in the present moment? We ensure that we stay in the reality that we choose through our thoughts, words, and actions. So if something happened that is slightly misaligned with your intention or your frequency and you become aware of that, remind yourself and set the intention to focus by choosing a different thought or going back to the thought that you chose before in your intentions and stepping into that and ground yourself there. And what happens is when we ground ourselves like this intentionally going forward, it helps the whole planet to remain grounded in the future or in the present that we want to create, that we want to manifest. I hope that makes sense to you. So it's a good practice every day. Ground yourself before any spiritual practice. I think that's why I light a candle and I take some moments to breathe. I sit here with my feet firmly on the ground, with my shoes off, so that I can be a clear channel for you guys as I record this session. So grounding yourself and then switching over into gratitude is such a profound exercise. I call it, flushing your brain or flooding your mind with gratitude. And sometimes when we fixate on a problem or a challenge or a difficulty, that can sort of become our whole experience for a minute until we realize that that is sort of where we've tuned in and plugged in. I'm sort of aware of that with my hyper active part of my brain. I tend to fixate on a particular situation or event, and then I'm sort of in a loop. And when I realize that, I have to ground myself, I have to take a deep breath, and I have to consciously let go of that frequency, that hyperfixation, and choose a different thought. And the easiest way for me to do that is to put on some music and to do this gratitude flood. And how do you do that? Well, you literally start saying thank you for everything around you. It sounds simple, it sounds ridiculous, but you know what happens is when you start to really pump your brain full of gratitude, then you switch your frequency and your mind begins to turn into the gratitude frequency, and you realize how blessed you are and you've got so much to rejoice over. So an example of that would be, like I'm sitting here, I would literally say, thank you for my art practice. Thank you for my candle. Thank you that I have brushes and that I have paint. Thank you for my studio. Thank you for my equipment with which I can record and share with the world. Thank you for canvases to paint on. Thank you for these walls that surround me, that gives me security and a place where I can have my creative practice. Thank you for my plants around me that help me to breathe. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the fan that is blowing on my face, cooling me down. Thank you for electricity that is running so that I can see what I'm doing and be connected on the World Wide Web. So you can see that you can just go into this complete flood of gratitude by saying thank you for everything and anything that you can see and notice around you. That's one way to ground yourself in the present moment, because you are literally forcing your mind to focus on everything that you are surrounded with, everything that you are wearing and that you have access to. And all of a sudden you realize, but I've got a lot more to be grateful for and to rejoice in and to be present for, then I have to be worried, which is in your mind about the future that hasn't even happened yet, or a situation that is such a small part of your day, but it sort of takes over the entire theme and frequency for the day. So this is why I regularly say to people during the painting practice, check in with yourself, recognize what you're feeling and thinking, and if it's not in alignment with your intention and where you want to go, then make those small adjustments. It's easier to do it in small increments like that than to try and change your life overnight. So hopefully this was a very helpful sharing. So I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do with your Cadmium Red Light canvases. You can literally still see my under drawing here of the seahorse. That's perfectly fine because we're going to start painting over it. So everything will just add to the texture and the interest of this beautiful painting that we're going to be painting. So I'll see you guys in the next episode, and stay creative, stay blessed, stay grateful, and stay present. I'll see you guys. Bye bye for now.